Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video. Let's jump into the theme of today's video. I received a comment from Elmag who said the following: Hi there, I like a lot your videos. Thank you very much. I have the initiation into Hermetics book and have already started the exercises. Very good. I am now into the practice, elementals, and I would have liked to see more about it because I want to prepare an elemental, but I am now hesitating a bit because I feel I need some guidance. Can you make some videos about elementals? Sure thing. Let's dive into the subject by adding a little bit of clarity to the situation. I believe that, you see, it's important for us to understand that any repeated action, any repetition of the same thoughts, the same words that you speak within yourself, any repetition of any kind, will create a thought form. As an end result, will be a thought form. And this thought form will affect you with an emotional change within you. So if you decide to create, let's say, an elemental, because day by day you will feed that particular elemental the feelings of your desire and thoughts, and you will feed into it the things that you want that particular elemental to do for yourself. That elemental will become a thought form, and that particular thought form will have as a result an emotional change within you. And an emotional change inside you will change your attitude towards life, will change your motivation, will change your perception, and so on. So these right now are just definitions, but I want to give you a concrete example of how a thought form can affect a person. So let me give you this story. I am a manager for a particular company and I am in charge of a team. And I want to speak to you about a thought form that was created by a person who was in my team. You see, my team and I are positioned in this company's building at the 4th floor. And we have a huge balcony at this particular floor. But because people are not allowed anymore to smoke on these balconies, when people take breaks, usually they go outside the building, and there are very few people who sit on these balconies. And at the end of this balcony at the 4th floor, there was a coffee machine, and instead of going through the building to get coffee, the shortest road to get to that coffee machine was to go directly through the balcony. Anyway, at our lunch breaks, there was this guy from my team who would sit in a certain spot on this balcony, and day by day he contemplated suicide in that specific spot. So he sat on that spot thinking that he was useless, feeling useless, and saying in his mind, what if I jump? What if I end it all? So he was doing this ritual day by day. And like I said earlier, any repeated action, any repeated ritual will create a thought form in the astral plane. And you see, one day I passed through that balcony to go to the coffee machine. And when I reached the spot where this guy usually sat during breaks, I had this thought in my mind. So his thoughts reached me, and I had this thought in my mind: what if I jump and end it all now? But because I feel that I'm lucky enough to have found magic, this magical path, and because I practiced for a while now awareness and magic, immediately I recognized that that was not my thought. That was not my own feeling, my own creation. These things belonged to someone else. And you see, the practice of magic and awareness in time will make you more sensitive to these kinds of things. Anyway, I went through the balcony, got my coffee, and I went back to my desk. And because we had tasks to do at our job, I forgot about the situation. The next day, I came at work and I went on that balcony again to get to the coffee machine. And again, when I passed through that same spot, I got the same thoughts of jumping out of the balcony and those feelings of sadness. I just felt sad. And I brushed it off and went at my desk. But I sat at my desk when one of the other team members said to another one, "You know, man, when I grabbed my cup of coffee this morning, I passed through that balcony, and what if I jump, man? What if I jump out of that balcony?" And they were laughing and discussing actually about jumping from that balcony. And oh my goodness, I got pissed because at that particular time I knew who was the person who sat there sad and all that day by day. So I got pissed with this guy from my team who mindlessly created that thought form. But obviously, you cannot just go to a person and say, "Wake up, please. What did you do?" Okay? So you cannot do that. But you see, it was also a powerful lesson that I got from this situation because I understood that we as human beings, we are all psychic. Maybe we don't know it at a conscious level, but we are. That's why I think it's crucial to watch out what comes out of your mouth, to watch out what thoughts you entertain, in what way you use your imagination. That's how powerful you are. So, because I've experienced those thoughts and feelings myself when passing through that balcony, I started to be a little bit worried when I heard these people around me talking about the same thing, about jumping from that balcony. So I said to myself that it is time for a one-on-one meeting with this guy from my team. So I programmed the meeting with this team member and I said directly to him, "Look, I want to ask you something, and I know that probably I would sound crazy to you, but I will ask you anyway. Do you sit on that spot on the balcony, contemplating to end it all?" And he made these huge eyes of surprise, and he turned a little bit red. And obviously he asked me, "How do I know about that?" I responded to him that maybe it's woman's intuition or something like that. I just brushed it off. And he explained to me his situation, his life, and all of that. He needed to get rid of that feeling of uselessness. We solved that. The situation that he needed more responsibilities by putting him in charge of a few new hires because he really needed to feel helpful in those particular hard times for him. So we solved that. We found for the job at least a solution. But you see, this man created a strong thought form that was sitting on our balcony. So I decided, you know what? I have never destroyed, at least consciously, a thought form, but how about now? So, just a few minutes before the lunch break, I would go first and sit on that specific spot where my colleague was usually sitting. And I saw him pissed a few times when he opened the balcony door that I took his spot, okay? But because I was his direct manager, he did not tell me to move to another place or anything like that. So I would have that balcony all for myself. So I decided to call in my guides and I asked them to help me destroy this thought form. And using my imagination, I brought white light in that specific area and I saw how these guides were breaking down, were biting and eating that particular black mass that I was seeing in my mind's eye. I saw how they were destroying it bit by bit. And I did this for a week or so because I knew if this guy stood there and fed day by day that thought form with his emotions, I could not possibly destroy his mental creation in just one day. So after a week of doing this process of destroying that particular mental creation, I got this feeling that this balcony is clean, crystal clean. But you see, I wanted to see for myself if what I did had any real effect. So I decided that I will not take anymore this guy's spot on the balcony and I will just go on my lunch breaks outside the building and see what happens. So one day I got at my desk and asked this guy to just have a quick chat to see how things are going. And he said that now, whenever he goes on that specific balcony, he can't think of anything else than just what can he do to teach the new hires new things. So when I heard that, I felt really good that I had a small little victory. So when you create an elemental, you do a ritual charged with emotion for a couple of days. The result will be the creation of a thought form that will influence and change your emotional state. And as we know by now, emotions, feelings, are a way to imprint something on the subconscious mind, which runs the show and creates our reality. Another example is when you go into a church or a temple. You may feel as you enter that space the feeling of sacredness. Again, this is actually a thought form created by the people who go in that space and pray day by day in that specific spot. And then when you enter that bubble, that space where that strong thought form is present, you will be influenced and your emotional state will change. You will feel this sacredness around you. You may feel also love, okay? So when you are creating an elemental or a servitor, you do a conscious process in which you create a thought form. And you want that thought form to influence you and your subconscious mind in a positive way. So there is no woo-woo about it. Like I explained earlier with that thought form created unconsciously by my colleague. These things are created on a daily basis by people. They are just unconscious about it. Now, you, by being on this magical path, you can create something in a conscious manner that can benefit you and those around you. And in my opinion, it will be actually a shame to have access to this kind of information and choosing just to sit around and do nothing about it. So if you want to create an elemental, give it a clear purpose to benefit you, to enrich your life. If you go about your ritual with that specific intent, there will be no problems. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. That's all for today. I hope this was helpful. Have a nice day.